The revival of AC Milan. The Italian giants have had some of a revival season, as many would say they're back to where they belong, which is near the top of the table, a title race. But around a year ago, they'd sacked their manager, and after only 2 months of hiring their second manager of the season, he was told he was getting sacked at the end of the season too. So they were in a bit of a crisis, and it looked chaotic. With almost all their star players, apart from Pulisic and Reinders out of form, it looked like an impossible role for whoever took over the club in the summer to revive AC Milan. The last time AC Milan won the league was in the 2021-22 season when Pioli was in charge of the club and club legend Paolo Maldini had a huge role behind the scenes. But those days are long gone. Both of them were not around in the club anymore. Since then, it's been a roller coaster of emotions. But I think many AC Milan fans will tell you that since the season they won the league title, that's been the most difficult season for them so far, the one that's just previously gone by. The first big decision AC Milan had to decide on was the manager. And this decision had to be basically perfect because the club was really in a crisis. With stars like Reinders, Leao, and Manyan all rumoured to leave the club, it required a manager who has the authority to deal with all these issues at the club. They hired former manager Allegri. I swear in Serie A, they all just have like 5, 6 managers and pass them around. Anyways, Allegri. When appointed at the time, it caused a bit of an outrage within the fan base because he didn't have a good ending to his Juventus career, and his managerial career somewhat looked like it was on the decline, with a lot of people expecting him to go to Saudi. His style of football wasn't particularly attractive, which is something I think AC Milan fans at the time would have liked to see, because I'm sure a lot of them could understand this may be a transition period again, and if you're going to go through that, you may as well try to play attractive football. But no, Allegri was the man. Now, the issue Milan had was trying to hold on to their star players. Their best player, in my opinion, Tijani Reinders, was approached by Manchester City, and unfortunately, he told the club he would like to leave for Manchester City. I can't really blame him. Man City in the Club World Cup at the time, Pep Guardiola, Haaland, Turkey as a new signing as well. It looked exciting at the time, and evidently it's proved to be the right decision, in my opinion, as Manchester City are doing much better this season. But the focus is not on them. Malik Chow, Theo Hernandez, Okafor, Kalulu were all sold by the club, and Benacer loaned out. So a big core of the dressing room that's left, especially someone like Theo Hernandez. Now Magnano was heavily linked to Chelsea with his contract up at the end of the season. The club didn't mind him leaving, but he ultimately ended up staying. And what a good decision to not force him out or zone him out like they did with Theo Hernandez, with reports coming out recently that he wanted to stay. Leao was also kept by the club despite his inconsistency and links away from the club. For the incomings, what at the time seemed like an underwhelming transfer window has turned out to be amazing for the club. The biggest signing for them was Luka Modric, who they got on a free, and some Milan fans weren't happy with the signing. Some were saying they needed younger players. Let me just tell you, Modric, in my opinion, has been the best midfielder in Serie A this season, and they all love him. They brought in names like Nkunku, Jashari, Ricci, De Winter, Estupinian, Athkame, if that's how you say it, and Rabiot. Apologies if I said any of those names wrong. At the time, only two of them looked like they made sense to the club, one of them being Ricci, who the fans wanted for a long while. AC Milan fans' ambitions weren't high going into the new season, and I don't think many people had them down in the title race. At most, a top 4 push. Now, Allegri changed Milan's formation from the previous season, which was a 4-2-3-1, to a 3-5-2, and it's worked out well. A side that's compact in the midfield, organised at the back, and deadly on the transition. It's all going to plan for Allegri. Allegri had managed to get Leao back on form until his recent injury, but this is the most consistent I've seen Leao play in the last couple seasons. Tomori and Manyan have returned to their best after a very disappointing season last year. So Allegri has revived the core players that are remaining at the club. With a mix of new signings and more focus on younger players compared to the past seasons, it's a perfect balance. Another player, for example, Sal Marquez, who's having talks to extend his contract around 2 seasons ago though, it looked like his time at AC Milan was done, but in that right wing back role, he's been excellent. So the man management has been superb from Allegri, improving basically every player at the club. AC Milan currently find themselves second, 1 point behind fierce rivals Inter Milan after 15 games played, and they've only lost 1 game all season in Serie A, the lowest in the competition. I do think they'll be in the title race for the majority of the season, as they don't have European football and got knocked out of the Coppa Italia recently. They could honestly win it, but I do think Napoli just about win the league. Again, but the revival of AC Milan this season has been astonishing, and they're back to where they belong thanks to Allegri. Let's hope they stay at this level for many years to come, and it's not just a 15-game spell. The club right now honestly seems to be the perfect balance of experience and youth in the squad, with likes of Modric and youngsters coming through. And I honestly wouldn't have expected him to be in this position almost midway through the season. But that's the end of the video, everyone. Thank you for watching.